the first to know in Nsem-Pii TV.
NDC for the Omaya one some dear Adisia from Adisia dear Omusibida. And Lintina, the only party I with me now could a propaganda secretary. Now, and 7 years where the case at the Supreme Court now about the ambulance case now, and Nona Sammy Gyamfi, the propaganda secretary and also a communication director for the National Democratic Congress, where in some waka, a come here say, unim the oka, and Nona poor at much returns. Why, we now, anyway, now and no, and na Yura Kolendi, and no, and Nsem-Pii Abba, Afan because the cars knife and Japa. Edi ne for nsemu na we tape na moji tu mu prako pena eno na Sammy Gyamfi se onte emrase obi a oye lawyer Leonard friend onte enema ase na ogina Nsem-Pii so na ote nsema yibra Sammy Gyamfi eka eda di pefe se opeso the politics ewura sa nsemu ho na lawyer Paul Adomo Cheretena ase ene okase wa meeting meter ampanyampa or Sammy Gyamfi less a man who say a propaganda secretary a young contumpo and no cresse because one common party now more sudden and Nemanya new name a communication director now and some year okay dear a come here say I said why Jenny a walk and brown a ya kayaki to be because the judge in can on Tiasi because se utia tifo ubums ampa lawyer Paul much in some can a dead buffet. The Marancham, Yanko, Niguti, lawyer Paul Admochery, any Sammy Gyamfi in some or the two Jano, a tearful, who are obedient one dance. Yangutibra.
Well, there's been speculation, and good evening, Joy FM. Your speculation about the judge and which judge it is has come to an end. Today, in the court, Mr. Lieutenant Jakpa has said that the trial, the Supreme Court judge in whose home they met is His Lordship Justice Yoni Kulendi. He said that. So, Joy FM, please, speculation has ended. Even though Jakpa said it on the tape, people say you didn't hear it, so you kept repeating. I was listening and it was worrying me. The judge whose name has not been mentioned, a judge whose name has, it was getting too much because as journalists, we pick the story, we run with it. When the guy has given you the story, don't keep your audience waiting and don't keep your audience thinking. Just tell them. But you didn't want to do that. Today, fortunately or unfortunately, Mr. Jakpa says that meetings occurred in Justice Kulendi's house. Mr. Jakpa has made even more serious allegations about the conversations that they had in Justice Kulendi's house. First, though, let's go to how the judge admitted the tape in evidence today. Let's see it. What did she say? Yes. This is the ruling on admissibility of the tape, which occurred today in court. Now, she says as follows. She says there's no doubt that the foundational matter to determine is the relevance of the recording to the trial. She is agreeing in that sentence with the prosecution who made the point that there is a relevance question to be answered. That if you answer the relevance, if you look at the relevance question, you are very likely to answer it in the negative. That's the point that she's making. That's the point that is being made here. She says, there's no doubt that the foundational matter to determine is the relevance of the recording to the trial. Once admitted, including electronic evidence, it will fall on the weight. That is to say, first level is to admit. Once you have admitted, you will then consider the weight of the evidence, the weight of the material in it. The considering the weight is not just to be understood as the English weight, as in the how heavy it is. No. The weight also speaks to whether it's been doctored, whether it is relevant, whether the things on it can do something to the case. All of those things is yet to important part. That's what Sammy Gyamfi should hear. Admissibility of the tape doesn't mean that the weight on the tape has yet been determined. The weight on it, if the court takes the tape, they can call a forensic person. Say, forensic, come and have a look at it. The court will then come and tell the general public that the forensic man said that it is doctored. However, the forensic man will be put in the box to be cross-examined, etc., etc. Haven't we seen this happen all the time? Okay, let's move on. He says, the court has referred to several cases, including the Raphael Kubaji case and the McPalm case, having concluded that on the allegation for which McPalm and co. were arraigned and the public interest, it was necessary to admit the recording in spite of the right to privacy. Right to privacy is one of those exceptions that was pleaded by the Attorney General's office, that the tape, admitting the tape will violate the right to privacy. Her Lordship, the judge, is saying that in spite of the privacy which she recognizes, there's another reason why she wants to admit it. And she cites the case of Raphael Kubaji and McPalm, about which many lawyers are seized with the facts when it comes to the evidence and admissibility of material. Okay, it goes on. It says that in spite of the right to privacy of the accused persons and the manner in which the recording was done. Okay, it goes on. Reverse position, where it is not a law enforcement agency that is tendering the recording, but an accused person against a law enforcement agency. The reason why she's put the sentence there is that in the cases she's referred to, Raphael Kubaji and the McPalm case, the tapes in those cases were tendered by the prosecution, not by the accused person. So she's saying that even though we have a reverse position here, where the tape is being tendered by the accused person as opposed to the prosecution, she would still admit it, even though it's reversed. So she's trying to suggest that the little distinction you see in the Raphael Kubaji and the McPalm case, which is that the person tendering was on the prosecution side, and now the person tendering is on the defense side, that should not be sufficient to distinguish it. She will still admit it anyway. All right, let's move on. If the recording was being submitted by the state agency in the present circumstances, the tape will have likely been admitted. Okay. The pen drive containing the recording is admitted into evidence by a court. The admitted record shall be assessed based on the evidential weight of the recording. I think Sammy Gyamfi didn't hear this last sentence when he sat in the court, and the lawyers around him also didn't hear it, or they heard it and they were not listening. Maybe they were listening to the guy who sang the song. What's his name? Asideo. Palota. Maybe they were listening to Palota's music in their ear. I like listening to music in my ear when I sit in places like that. So maybe they were doing that. So they didn't hear it. It says the admitted record shall be assessed based on the evidential weight of the recording. What it means is that, and that's the last sentence on the screen, viewers, if you saw it. What it means is that the admitted record is yet to be assessed. The admitted tape and record, according to the court, is yet to be assessed. Can you knock on Sammy Gyamfi's door and tell him that he should go back for his evidence and have a look at it? And you don't even need evidence. It's common sense, isn't it? You don't need evidence decree. You don't need any training in evidence to know that. You go to a police, you have an umpire, any umpire, and you submit something to the umpire. Another person submits this to the umpire. One person comes and says, umpire, don't collect his paper. Umpire says, don't worry, I'll collect it. You two bring yours. That means that the umpire is going to necessarily make the conclusion that you think it. I mean, why should anybody try and spin with something like this? I mean, is that also part of politics? Then I don't want to be part of politics. If this is part of politics, that you can see blue and call it red. I mean, if you have forgotten or you don't understand us, that's forgivable. But this is not the case where people don't understand. This is a case where people are trying to politicize the law so that they will have something to say. Because the germane issue from today's trial and the proceedings thereof is that the Supreme Court judge was there when these spurious allegations are being made by Mr. Jakpa. That the Attorney General said some finance minister, and then today, this is the latest one they added, that Attorney General said fancies are cheap. I don't even understand that. Oh, these people. Sometimes you feel pathetic. I mean, okay, so let's move on. These are the points take away from today's situation. He says Jakpa met with the Attorney General twice in 2022 in the house of the Supreme Court Judge Justice Yoni Kulendi. Jakpa claimed that the position taken that the ambulances were not fit for purpose was orchestrated. Fair enough. Jakpa expressed disappointment that the Supreme Court Judge and the Attorney General purportedly promised that the submission of no case will go in Jakpa's favor. Really? Viewers, have you seen number 3? Really? Jakpa told the court that he was disappointed that the Supreme Court judge and the Attorney General appeared to have promised him that his submission of no case will succeed. Is Jakpa inviting the Supreme Court judge into the trial as well? I think that he's a very ungrateful guy. Jakpa is an ungrateful guy. Your brother, the Supreme Court judge, has used his good offices with the Attorney General to invite the Attorney General to his house. You, Jakpa, you told the court today that you are the one who called that. Of course, we have the text message. NDC didn't show it. Johnson, I said, and Sammy Gyamfi, they didn't show that tape, but we have it. We have did I say tape? The text messages. We don't have any tape, oh, please. We don't do tape. The text messages. We showed it. You, Jakpa, here, wrote to the Attorney General by it and said, listen to me because I am Kulendi's brother. That's really what he said. My name is Jakpa. Thank you very much for, please look for that text. Look for that text and put it on. He said, my name is Jakpa. Thank you very much for saving me or something about bail. Please, I would like to see you through my brother. The Attorney General says, don't worry, I'll meet you through your brother. Jakpa is very ungrateful. You would never have had audience with the Attorney General. Never would you have had audience with the Attorney General. Because of your brother, the Attorney General agrees to meet with you. You yourself said that all the meetings were conducted in your brother, the judge's house. You know your brother is not an ordinary person. He's a very distinguished Supreme Court judge. He's a member of the bench, a very, very important one. Then you come to court and come and tell the court that when you met the Attorney General in front of your brother, the Attorney General told you that the President of the Republic wants the matter done in a way that is illegal. And the Supreme Court judge was sitting there. That is Jakpa. You see this kind of people, Jakpa. Your brother is trying to help you. Look at the problem that he's brought to the court. Baseless and unfounded. He cannot even establish it. He didn't record that one. He's just telling the court. And he's telling the court where there are two witnesses. There is the Attorney General and then there's the Supreme Court judge. Should the Supreme Court judge come and say that everything Jakpa is saying is not true? What do we make of him? I know Yoni Kulendi. I do not believe that Yoni Kulendi will host a meeting which is discussing illegality and shenanigans in court to be perpetrated by the learned Attorney General. I do not believe that it will never happen. But that's what Jakpa is saying. Okay, here's the text. 1453. Good afternoon, my bro. I am Richard Jakpa, a junior brother of Justice Kulendi. That is how he introduces himself. Please put the text alone on the screen. Let the viewers see it. I'll decide to open it. Can I open it? Small. I can open it small. This is Richard Jakpa. Look at the way his number is saved on the phone. Richard Jakpa. He says, good afternoon, my bro. I'm Richard Jakpa. He should have added formerly of the Ghana Armed Forces, but he didn't add that. It's okay. I am a junior brother of Justice Kulendi. You intervened to secure my bail some weeks ago. I am humbly requesting for a time and a venue at your convenience to meet you for a private discussion, please. Oh, Jakpa. Then he says, I'm most grateful for that kind gesture from you. Hope to hear favorably from you. Then there's a thank you there. Okay. We now know that the Attorney General wrote to him and said that I will contact you through your brother. That one the NDC showed. Aseni Keta showed us that one. Aseni Keta didn't show us this one, but he showed us that one. He says that I will contact you through your brother. Aha, it is here. Arrange. Okay. The Attorney General, his language is better than mine. So he didn't say contact, he said arrange. He says, after the thank you, it continues. It says, I will arrange through your brother. Thanks. Now, viewers, let's put this in proper perspective. Assuming that Richard Jakpa texted the Attorney General, please put the first text back on, and said that, my name is Richard Jakpa, I'm the one that you are prosecuting. Can I meet you for a private discussion, please? Viewers, in all honesty, knowing even the little that you know about Godfrey Dami, or any lawyer at all, or anybody who becomes Attorney General, if you, viewers, if you are the Attorney General, will you respond to such a text? I'm the one you are prosecuting. I need to see you for a private discussion, please. You won't not, you wouldn't. Every lawyer, any lawyer trained in Ghana will refuse that. Every lawyer knows that. Sammy Gyamfi will refuse it. All the lawyers standing behind him will refuse it. But this is the catch. The guy comes to you and says that, bro, I'm Richard Jakpa, a junior brother of Justice Kulendi. You, the Attorney General, you intervened to secure my bail some weeks ago. I'm humbly asking for a meeting. It is on that basis. And the Attorney General says, okay, if you say your brother is Justice Kulendi, I will contact you through Kulendi, because he needs to ascertain that it is true that your brother is Kulendi. So I'm sure he picked his phone and said, my lord, how are you? So he said, oh, Attorney General, I'm good. Oh. He said, do you know the third accused in this ambulance matter? Oh, he's my brother. He said, well, he's there's plea bargain. And then after that, he made a phone call to Attorney General weeks later. And by the time he was making the phone call to Attorney General, he already knew the Attorney General's position on some of the things he was going to express. That brings me back to the judge, saying that I have listened to the tape several times. I did not hear the Attorney General say that he needs your help to implicate Ato Forsen. That brings me back to this. Thank you very much. It brings me back to this. I have listened to the audio 10 times. Not more than several. Several, the mathematicians tell us several means 4. Please, can you bring it back? I think I touched something. The mathematicians tell us that several means 4. So 10 times is more than several. I have listened to the audio 10 times. Attorney General did not tell Jakpa to implicate Ato Forsen. Sammy Gyamfi, the National Propaganda Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. Then he goes to court and says that because he closes court and holds a press conference and says that because the tape has been admitted by the judge, therefore those who said the tape was not good are funny people or have been embarrassed. I mean, he should just have told the audience that, well, today we have come and the tape has been admitted by the judge. That is a first step. We are hoping that after the judge has assessed it, she will come to the same conclusion that we come to, that this tape is something that is relevant for the trial. If you say that at the press conference, no problem. But if you say what you said, that the tape is not doctored because it has been admitted, it just means that you have misunderstood, misapprehended, and completely don't understand the processes of evidence, not because of the technical evidence decree in court, but just because of the normal way that we do our lives. You, Sammy Gyamfi, you sit down there as a propaganda secretary. If the regional youth organizer of Ashanti is fighting with the regional youth organizer of Greater Accra, and they both come to you and John Mahama appoints you as an umpire, and you tell both of them that write to me what your claim is, and then one writes to you and says that I'm the regional commander of I'm the regional NDC regional propaganda secretary of Greater Accra. When I'm doing my work, then the guy in Eastern Region 2 comes, then he's doing this, then Eastern Region 2 brings his document. The fact that you receive 2 documents from 2 of your subordinates who are quarreling, does that suggest that you have agreed with one of them? The fact that you admit this one and admit this one, Sammy Gyamfi, does it mean that you have agreed with either of them? Are you not now, as an umpire, going to go through the process and make a determination? I mean, what are you talking about? When you go to court and you submit something, it means anyway, no problem. Let's move on. Oh, it's 5 minutes to the top of that at 10 o'clock. Play that Sammy Gyamfi tape for the last time. Let's talk about him a bit, and then we move on to the glorious law house.
Let me tell you the other good things about the ruling, which we agree with. What we agree with and commend the judge for was, number 1, to admit Exhibit CAF2, CAF2, which is the audio recording the NDC put out, which Mr. Jakpa annexed to, the Honorable Ato Forsen annexed to his supplementary affidavit. That audio recording, they've been saying that it is doctored and all that. They couldn't say that it is doctored in court. They've been challenging its authenticity in the media. They couldn't say that in court. So
it was 26 minutes.
The Godfrey Dami himself, whose voice is on it, Mr. Godfrey Dami himself, whose voice is on it, could not swear an affidavit to dispute the tape. He had to shift responsibility to a principal state attorney who was not on the call to make denials. Now the court says, I have listened to you. There are exceptions to the rules of privacy under Article 18.2 and 12.2. Public interest, issues of crime. I am admitting that evidence. That is a heavy blow for Godfrey Dami, who has been trying to escape accountability and has been sponsoring his assigns and highlands like Nana B and Paul Adomotri to be saying in the media that the tape is doctored, it is not admissible and all that. Now that argument has fallen flat. They have eggs all over their faces. The tape has been admitted, and that is why the judge made copious reference to it in delivering this ruling. And you've seen the line of cross-examination. More tapes are coming up. More tapes are coming up.
Tapes are coming up. More tapes in the cross-examination. More tapes. Okay, next week Tuesday.